You can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious!
Now, if you're going through the index of You Cannot Be Serious, this is episode 3, because the first episode was with Greg Evans on Anzac Day, and we've just, this is Wednesday today, and I've just spoken to the Duck, and
I'm just writing in my diary.
Just a minute, and just spoke to the Duck. So this is episode 3, if you're following it on the index, because people say, "Oh, yeah, why didn't you say this?" Gee, do we get some advice on what we say, who we are, what they think of us? It's fantastic, and they love us speaking about Trump. Oh yeah, Trump. What a man, revolutionising the world. So before we got off here, you said that if you've just listened to the first episode, at the end we were discussing Henry Brayshaw. And I said, I tell you, the only man that might be able to throw some light on it, because you said it was AI.
Well, I thought it was AI.
Yeah. You didn't think it, did you?
I did. Well, there's no possible way that...
Anyhow, we rang the father of the bride. Not the father of the bride, the father of the groom.
The father of the bride.
We didn't ring the father of the bride, we rang the father of the groom. And Jimmy answered the phone, and I said, Jim, the Duck here thinks that this is AI about your son. I won't tell you what he said about your son tracking square with a lass who wants to bed down 1,000 people just by was it by the end of the fiscal year or the calendar year? Anyhow, I don't know what it was. And he said, he said, I can confirm that this is correct. He is. It has what has
it's
been
not
reported. Don't keep going on the back. There's no way you thought that was
I'm interested to know, has it started? Are we in the midst of the 1,000, or does it start after the wedding, or does it?
So you think that Henry said, "Hey, Anna, what's her name? Annie,
I think.
Would you like to marry me?" She said, "Yes, but could I just tell you before I say yes and accept, I'm on a mission. I'm going to fuck 1,000 people just between now and when we get betrothed. Is that okay?" He said, "Yes, push on. Push on, Annie."
Well, by the sounds of it, now that I know that it's not...
She must be doing it.
Now that I know that it's not AI...
He could have been one of them.
So she's in... So it's
Did
in
you
the
think
midst...
that he might have been one of them? He could have been number 550.
Well, there you go. Well, she only has to do 999.
And he's the 1,000th.
Yeah.
And we'll cap it off by marrying you. what a celebration. They could make a doco out of this.
It's just ludicrous, isn't it? And does
farmer wants to meet a wife.
Does she make money? So she obviously, is there, so what money does she make out of that? Do they film her doing it or what?
She would film herself, surely.
Well, how does she make money?
I don't think you could show
declaring.
Because people pay to watch OnlyFans, don't they, Sue?
So it's paid. So they'll watch her sleep with 1,000 guys.
No, but they would have to get permission from the guys that she's screwing, wouldn't she? Wouldn't?
I would have thought.
Or her hair.
What sort of Nimrod? What sort of Nimrod's going to walk in and be number, I don't know, 222 or?
Well, I think it would appeal to a lot of people that you'd like to just. What?
Are you serious?
Well, I'm
all for. I'd be a hypocrite. I'm all for having a past, but
you'd have to strap a plank across your ass.
Not a present. Not a Surely, no. How do you monetize this?
Would there be condoms? Maybe a condom company could sponsor her.
How do you monetize this?
Because people pay. So how does it work? People pay $5 a week to have access.
What are they tuning in to number 482?
No, they look at her website or her YouTube channel, and it's restricted unless you have a tick or something. I don't know how it works. It sounds like I do, but I don't. Maybe you pay $5 a week, or
maybe you could go in at the amount of your age or the amount of goals you kicked. I could go in at number 727. or at number 53, or they go at an age, or you could go on your birth. You couldn't go on your birthday.
So I don't want
the
to,
year you were born, 71, or you could go in 52.
I don't want to air any private conversations, but we had Jim on speakerphone and I said, is this right, Jim?
No,
and
it'd be fair to say. I think it'd be fair to say.
He said, could I tell you something?
No.
I won't say.
I don't think it's betraying his confidence. It'd be fair to say.
I rang him.
It'd be fair to say. No, you rang him.
Yeah, it'd be betraying the confidence if you gave his answer.
No, it'd be fair to say he wasn't exactly jumping through hoops.
Enamoured.
Yes. He wasn't exactly doing backflips.
And I did ask the question, have you met the lass? Have they come over for... And I went to Jim's
Some
wedding.
porridge?
He's married to Lisa. I went over to Perth and married her. I said, has you and Lisa invited Henry and the lass around just to get acquainted just before the nuptials? And he said, no, he was quite brief. He was quite short when I asked him that. He said, no, they haven't been over to have a meal with us yet.
Anyway, I just can't believe. I can't believe. How do you monetise that, or how's that interesting to anyone?
I'm just telling you. So,
anyway,
Sue,
maybe does it
so
go overseas?
how do you monetise? I know
You have different levels. So if you're...
Could you speak into the microphone? Just come and speak into the microphone. What number is it?
Number 3.
Right.
From my understanding, I think...
Put yourself on.
No, I don't want to go on. I wrote a book.
We were going to... The reason we're doing this second interview, second session, episode, is because I was going to put the interviewee on about the book that this person wrote, but we're not putting it on anymore. If she does...
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
So how do they monetise?
You can get different levels. So it's like a membership base.
Yep.
So if Sam has a profile and I could go in and I only want to see his nipples, so when he takes his top off, then I pay up to a certain level. And then if I want to pay more, then I can watch him take his pants off. And then if I want to see him naked and he sees Willie, I pay a bit more. Then if you obviously do things that you can go... So you have different levels of what people pay.
So this would be a case of someone paying for a certain amount for each one,
For viewing.
or paying for the whole lot.
So if
No,
you
they're
paid
just
the...
They're viewing the whole lot.
Yeah.
So if you paid the premium package...
What's
you
the
could
package?
see-
What's the package worth for that?
I was going to say, so $5 for nipples.
Well, get Sue to do some
I'll do some
research because
$5 for nipples, $10 for the willy, and if you want to see the
get
act,
Sue to do.
the swishing
I would like
and the
to.
slapping
I
and
just
the-
think I find it fascinating. I'd like to know what she's charging for
And
Maybe
does
we
she
can
have
get
a
her
little?
on.
Does she have a camera?
Get
set
her
up?
on. Get her on. We should get her on.
We should. Do you think she'd come on?
I reckon she
Maybe
would because
you
it'd
could be
promote.
number. While I'm speaking to her, you could be number 950.
I'm not sure that that's.
No, just for research purposes. you could bonk her on the table while I'm interviewing her. I could say, now Annie, yes, what? Oh, no. We could get her on. She probably wouldn't come on.
We're having a bit of it.
So what I'm saying...
You cannot be serious.
So
This
what
can't
I'm
be
saying
serious.
is if people are paying the premium package to see the actual routing, would she have a hat stand up there with a camera on it and she says, righto, we're on, and she turned it on?
Sue's going to find all that out, and I reckon that we should get her. I reckon she'd be a great interview. I'm fascinated by it. I honestly thought it was AI.
People would have asked her for an interview by now.
Yeah, I think.
How do we get hold
she's
of her?
obviously has she spoken to the Herald Sun, Sue?
I think
Well, get Henry on.
Get Phoebe. Fiona Byrne. Obviously taken Fiona Byrne a little time to go through the backlog of our chats because she's just announced in the Sunday Herald Sun last week that Warwick Capper has withdrawn from fighting someone because he's got he's going to speak to the AFL about getting a concussion. We actually mentioned that 3 weeks ago and had the whiz on the phone saying he's withdrawing from fighting, but Fiona's obviously taken a while to listen to our most recent broadcast because she gets a lot of our stuff.
Who was the whiz going to fight anyway?
He was going to fight
Humpty Dumpty.
he was going to fight. He was going to fight a NRL player, wasn't he?
Oh, please.
Wasn't he? And anyhow, he's decided.
And he's joined the class action, has he? So he was going to fight. So he's a boxer.
Yes.
He's going to fight, but he's going to sue the AFL, is he?
I'm sorry to keep asking you this, Sue. That's what he was going to do, wasn't he? He was going to fight someone, and now he's off.
So the Wiz has joined the class action of the.
correct. Yeah, he's had his CT scans and his
But he
range
just
bands.
pulled out. Hang on, the Wiz not exactly great business
Acumen.
He's pulled out of a boxing event, but I'm going to sue the AFL for.
But that's why he pulled out.
Concussion.
That's why he pulled out.
Oh, whiz.
And Fiona got onto it. As I say, we mentioned it 3 weeks ago, but she's just announced it in the paper. Probably just going through the backlog of our chats and getting all her information from us.
The whiz is not
Compass.
Well, I'm not sure that you can join the class action. You've just pulled out of a boxing event. Now you've seen.
Now, what do you think about this? Just so you live in the community.
Yes,
there's been
big community, man.
A lot of ram raids and juveniles being paid $5 for a pack of cigarettes to rob tobacconists and grocery stores and Woolworths and Coles.
They've been paid
by the bikies.
They've been given a packet of cigarettes.
No, they say you go and rob the stores of cigarettes and you deliver them to us and we'll give you $5 a packet, because cigarettes are, I think, $60 a packet now.
Correct.
They
not that I know, I don't smoke.
No, but they found no, but I've not been to the moon, but I know it's there. So they opened the boot of a car that this kid or someone was driving, and it was chock-a-block full of stolen cigarettes. So here's my point. This is the reason I'm mentioning this. Do you think it's about time the state government, God love them, who are just worried about free speech and enacting legislation has got nothing to do with how the community runs. Do you think it's about time that they stopped any people, wearing hoodies if you go into any store or any public property? You can't wear a hoodie or a bike helmet. If you go into a bank, you've got to take your bike.
But you can walk. But you can walk in with a mask on.
You can have a COVID mask.
You can have a COVID mask on. You shouldn't be allowed to wear one of those into one of those.
Not now.
Either.
You shouldn't be.
No, you shouldn't be. It's called common sense.
And then it gets.
You're making too much sense, Sam.
And then it gets on to you. Then you'll have the do-good lawyers will say the hijabs. Are they the hijabs that the Muslim girls, ladies, people wear? With the letterbox slits that they look through.
Yes.
They can't go into a store. I know it's fraught with danger, all this, and legal and litigants.
Look, there's common sense. There's common sense wherever you.
Well,
wherever
you'll find
in this world,
you'll find the Muslim population has suddenly increased when they start to go into Woolworths and with all the slits that they look through. They'll say, "You're not a Muslim." He said, "You're Frank from around the street here." They say, "No, I'm identifying as a Muslim for the fact of this robbery."
Yeah, no, the masks and hoodies and all that sort of stuff, I think it's common sense.
Well, why don't they ban them?
It's also manners. You walk indoors anywhere and you should take your hoodie off. Wear a hat.
No, but they keep them on deliberately so you can't see people.
Yeah, I know why they wear it. But yeah, so I'm in agreement with you there,
all right, well, that's a proactive thing the government could do.
I would have thought.
This government here in this state.
But they're too busy worrying about other things that don't
so you
have any impact whatsoever.
Now, there's another thing I've been watching just in between. Do you ever watch the police patrols and the border security? And
yep, I do. The shows.
The shows.
Yep.
They're quite interesting.
Yep.
And why are the coppers so polite? There's shitheads out
because
there.
Everything's filmed now.
That's correct, Wayne. It seems to be a
love off.
It seems to be a promotional tool to film felons calling the coppers C's and F's and spitting at them and kicking them and biting them, and the police say, "Settle down, just relax, take it easy, calm down." Why don't they bring the heavy kosh out and belt the living shit out of them, bundle them into the truck, take them back to the cells and throw them in the cells and tell them to cool off? You can't believe these fully grown men and women standing there copping this from people who are drug fucked, who are just really evil people.
Once again, common sense.
Why do they put that on? Because I sit and watch it and I think, surely they're going to do something to this person. But no, they don't. They say, "Settle down now, take it easy, relax, just relax." And they go berserk, they do.
Yeah.
And I think
it's all been filmed. Everything's filmed now. So, everyone's everyone's walking on, other than the person that's being spoken to, everyone else walks on eggshells.
Have you heard of Thomas Towle?
Towley?
I'm not sure how you spell his name. Thomas Towle. He's the
Thomas
bloke.
Towle. He sounds like Thomas the Tank.
He is the bloke
Thomas Towle.
who was
Spelt T-O-W-L?
I just heard it on the news. He is the bloke that killed 6 people, drove his car.
Oh, why didn't you tell me that before I said Towley as a joke?
Well, that's
I thought you
no
were just
Towley.
taking...
No, Towley.
Anyway,
fair enough.
sorry.
I don't know. I'm not making light. Thomas Towle was he was high on meth. He had no license. He had 12 prior convictions. He hit and run 6 teenagers in, I think it was Bendigo, maybe it wasn't. It killed 6 of them.
Yep.
He got 7 years jail.
Oh, you're kidding. 7.
And now he's, I think he's been let out, and his lawyer, Juanita Bon, said that he's engaging honestly with the social worker, and he's a changed man. Yeah. And there he was, he's limping around, and a psychiatrist said there's no doubt that he'll do this again, he'll just got on drugs again. How could you kill 6 people when you've got no licence, hit and run, high on meth, kill 6 people and get 7 years jail?
Yeah, well,
that's
beyond belief.
It is.
Beyond belief.
This is the legal system we're living in. In this government.
I know.
This is,
and then you got someone that, and then on the flip side of that, you got a kid that goes in and, I don't know, knocks off a loaf of bread and does 2 years jail or something like that. It's ridiculous, Sam. It's like beyond belief. Now, I'll tell you why, because the excuse. This is what the excuse is. They go to the well. This is what I find, and it's as simple as this. They go into court. They say they've got mental issues and they've got drug issues, and for whatever reason,
that's right,
you say, and it works the same in professional sport. It works the same anyway. You've got mental issues. You've got drug issues. Guess what? Hands off.
So here's the boy. The boy's got 2 years at the doubles player for Australia. He just got banned for 2 years for taking an injection, too much of some injection into his body. It was legal to have a certain amount, but they over-prescribed or dosed him. He got 2 years, whereas Mr. Sinner, who got a 3-month ban for doing exactly the same thing, this boy's been, Australian doubles player's been put out for 2 years. Yeah. So you talk about
I know.
One set of rules for some.
Yep.
Now, Max Purcell, he got
18 months suspension.
18 months suspension for taking a supplement which was legal, but they gave him too much of it, did they? That's what it said on the news. It was all right. It wasn't.
Yeah, it's Sam. There's you can sit here all day and go through examples such as that one.
So Ralph Horowitz, do you know him?
Ralphie, yep.
Ralph.
I don't. When I say know him, I know him. Yeah,
he's a Jewish man.
Yes,
and a proud
Ralphie,
Jew.
Yep.
And he can't believe, and I'm a bit with him.
Yep.
That I don't want to misrepresent the club. I think it was the Dockers, I'm not sure. They came out and said they are in agreement or an agreeance of Hezbollah and Free Palestine. This is a football club, said this. And Ralph, quite rightly, has taken offence at this.
I would say most things I read from Ralph I like.
Because he is.
Well, he's common sense.
And
he's common sense, he's fair, he's balanced, and he listens to both arguments. And like I said, I read a lot of what Ralph says, and I like what he says because you know what it is? It is literally common sense.
Well, I'll just tell you, he said, and the point of me bringing this up is that the AFL are on to every other thing that people do, but they haven't said that the people should desist from making political...
He's right. He's right. Should get Ralphie on. He does his own podcast with Swanee, doesn't he?
He does. Here he is. If the AFL don't act on this, probably they won't. They don't believe anything they say about against racism. Fremantle captain Alex Pearce is supporting a group that has praised Hamas and Hezbollah, both recognised terrorist organisations. How can the national sporting body possibly stand by this? Why doesn't the AFL reprimand the Fremantle Dockers for having a political statement saying they back Hezbollah and Hamas?
Yeah, don't disagree.
Well, this gets back
Either
to
that,
the way
either
the
that,
AFL's
either,
run.
no, either that, or the AFL just stay out of everything.
Bob, I've said this for years, mate. Just let people go to the football, wipe the frown off their face, watch the game. Don't be told how to vote on
Moral police.
yes, no issues, gay issues, LBGT issues.
The moral police when it suits them.
And that there is classic, that they can bring out a statement and not be reprimanded for saying, we take no sides, we have no skin in the game, but don't exacerbate community feeling by siding with one group or another, because that's just a recipe for disaster.
Agreed. Agreed.
Oh, good.
Once again, Ralphie making sense.
Right, now I've got some just a couple of other things here I wrote down. Have you got anything else there? So the Storm decided that good on the Storm. They said last year that they wouldn't be doing
you've
Welcome
said
to
this.
Country, but
Done that.
they were possibly just asked to just reconsider that. But on Anzac Day, they said definitely no, we're not having Welcome to Country on Anzac Day at our game. And the last Auntie Beryl or whatever her name was, she's all dressed up in the bearskins and the fucking goanna frock or whatever she wears. And she was very, very up. She was distressed that she wasn't asked to come on and do Welcome to Country just before the Reveille, before the last post. Good on the Storm, Matthew Tripp and the boys for
Trippy,
having a stand against stupidity,
Yeah,
against irrelevance.
No, you've spoken about the Storm taking that stance.
Now, and the doc who's given us the arse, Dr. Ben Fordham.
Yes, how's he going?
Well, we see bits of he's got a concession out of Mr. Miles, who is he the treasurer, the Mr. Miles, the national treasurer, who said that. Have a listen to this. People now are going to buy extra jumpers and coats from Target and the clothing stores instead of putting their heating on in the winter, because the heating and electric and energy prices have skyrocketed, because people like the Greens, Adam Brandt, says that we don't want fossil fuels. We're not allowing fossil fuels or gas. You can't have gas heating. Just put an extra jumper on. This is the society we're living in, where we are trying to save the planet. Who from? I don't know. But half the world couldn't give a fuck about the planet. The Chinese, the Pakistanis, the Indians, the Russians, most of the people in them couldn't give a stuff. It's just the noble people like us.
And yet the measly 27 million of Australia.
That's right.
Compared to a billion people in
billion and a half.
Yes,
Yeah. That's exactly right, Doug.
No, well, yeah. Look, you're making too much sense today.
Well, so how come? So the amount of you don't read them, and I don't either, but you can't help, every time you open your phone, there's that many notifications that people write in or text in or whatever you call, contact us about, and we take a belting, I take a belting, and they say, oh, you're an old fossil and you're trying to remain relevant, and say, I don't know why people listen to you, and I sometimes text back and I say, well, if you don't know why people listen to us, why are you listening to us? I mean, the logic of all, but a lot of people, the absolute majority of people think that what we talk about,
would you agree?
They resonate with.
Not a lot of logic goes into how people think, and most people that whinge don't have a lot of logic.
But most people go into a decline who are on the social media because they can't stand the trolling, I think it's called, is it? And they actually, it really affects them mentally. I enjoy listening to people have a go at me about anything, because Why? How do they know what I say if they don't listen? And why are they listening?
Because that's
the point of it.
exactly
all,
right. No, exactly right. Exactly right. We you know what, we've covered a bit of ground today, and what I am looking forward to is getting the feedback from Sue about this OnlyFans stuff.
You're obsessed with it. You haven't
Because
concentrated on anything I've said since you found out there was a woman going to fuck 1,000 people, have you? Hey, I'm starting to get frisky myself.
No,
Hey,
Sue's
let's
going to
get
find
some
out.
plastic sheets.
We're going to get any night.
Let's get some plastic sheets
On?
here and some baby oil,
Oh,
and we'll ask. We could film.
Play
her,
Twister.
We could film her maybe knocking over 100 while we do the podcast.
Maybe you can start now, so when you reach 1,000, you can reach before you pass.
Let's do the we'll find out.
I'm going to dip a
information.
toe in the water, Duck. I'm going to get onto a fans only, and I'm going to start. I might show my nipple to start with, and then I'll gradually get down to the whizzer. And I'd like to see a flange. Would she? What do you think she would be? Shaved down or what?
Wax to
Would
the
you
minute.
see it?
Wax to the
Would you see it on fans only? You'd see the actual woofer, would you?
I've got no idea.
You'd have to if you're paying the premium.
I'm fascinated. I think she'd be a good interview, Sam. I'd let you do it. I just come in and listen to the interview.
We did have Miss Nude, Miss what's that? Pornhub, Miss Nude Pornhub Australian girl. She came in here. We interviewed her. She was fantastic.
Well,
she was no bigger than Sue, and she was a little petite thing. And her name was, can't think of her name. She sat there.
Well, let's
and she
do
rode
that.
horses. And Don Scott interviewed and said, "You ride horses, do you?" And she said, "Yes." He said, "What sort of horses?" I said, "Don, if you think we've got this person in here to talk about her riding fucking horses," I said, "How do you prepare for anal sex?" And she said, "Yes, I get asked that a lot." Don fell off the chair when I asked her that.
Hey, well, I reckon we should tee that interview up.
All right.
That'll
Well,
be a
look,
good one.
it's been a. So I'm, yeah.
And if we get, you know what, we'll get a couple certain interviews. Obviously, I won't sit in on. I'll sit over there and listen to.
You wouldn't interview Annie Knight.
Yeah, I'd be involved if you wanted.
Which
me to
ones
be.
won't
I think
you
it's
interview?
Fascinating.
I've got a man coming
No,
in.
because sometimes I think when you're interviewing someone, I think it is better one-on-one because you
Yes,
get more.
that's quite right.
It's harder with when you're trying to get in and stuff.
You know why that is? I tell you why it is. It's better because sometimes you use a couple of just hooky questions to get to the main question you want to answer.
And then the other person stuffs it up.
Stuffs it up.
Correct. That'd be me. And so I'll come in and listen to it. But Sue's going to reach out to Annie Knight.
You are you?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
How do you get hold of her?
Well,
Go through James.
OnlyFans.
Yeah, you're going to have to sign up to an OnlyFans thing.
Well, you just
We
send
were
it
going
out.
to do one together, weren't we? We can do one together.
You and I were going to do one. What were we going to do?
Remember on the boat?
Were you going to show your bits and pieces?
No, you were.
I was.
I just hold the camera for you.
Jeez. I'll have to get a couple of icy pole sticks and see if I can strap the old wizard to them with some piano wire. It's the only way you'd see it. Anyhow, if you could just get my kneecaps, my plums will be down there somewhere.
Get a gravel rash.
What are you doing?
There we go. There's one of the photos. I'm just lifting up the world there.
You?
Yeah.
Bring your photos in. Bring the photos in and I'll put them up.
You know.
No, I want some pictures of you playing football, Duck.
Well, let's.
I mean, I could get plenty of pictures of you. Christ, every paper's got them. I want you playing football. And I'll put them up here.
All right.
All right, well, that's it.
Right.
So well done, Duck. Has the game got any better in the last round of football?
It's starting to work itself out. You know what? There's a few pretenders. What has happened? There's a big gap. The evenness of the competition has just fallen off the cliff. We'll talk about it more next week.
Righto, well done.